I think it's time we demystify what digitalization and the digital transformation of business today really means. Hi, this is Craig Henry with Siemens. Welcome to the future. The digital transformation of business is happening now. The internet has been with us for decades, but like any technology, there's a latency period. When a new technology comes out, its value is often easily seen from the beginning, but it takes time before it's fully adopted and begins bringing the benefits it was designed for. This was true of the steam engine, the electric motor, etc. Well, the internet has come into its own. We are networked like we never have been networked before. There are more microprocessors on Earth than people. We have the capability of connecting inside and outside the walls of an organization like we never have before. Now, with this power comes a lot of data, probably too much data. Now, the digital transformation business is becoming a $1 trillion business by the year 2025. What are we really doing?
We are in the fourth industrial revolution of data. The use of digital tools is transforming the business model into a digital model. This is critical. And perhaps nowhere is this seen more than in the supply chain industry. Domino's Pizza, for example, see themselves as a technology company who happen to deliver pizzas. Amazon has gone on record saying that they are a data company who also happens to deliver product. If you have a teenager who enjoys video games, do not discourage it. She is developing skills for the digital world that we are only imagining now. The corporate dashboard of tomorrow is all about data and flexibility, making the right moves and reacting quickly to live data being generated throughout the enterprise. But in our supply chain transformation, simply automating and speeding up process won't be enough. We have to move to data. Let's take the case of the Keynote grocery store, developed by Clarence Saunders in 1937. He was ahead of his time. His concept was to mechanize a grocery store, whereby patrons viewed their items, which were displayed under glass, inside the store. Customers presented a key that would be electronically stamped each time they selected an item. At the checkout, the key would be electronically read, and the items would come down a chute automatically and be priced. Also automatically. It was an early automated storage and retrieval system for retail. It was automation, but it was not digital. It was before the digital age. This is the key difference. Mechanizing and automating alone do not bring us into the digital realm. The Keynote grocery store had no advantage when it came to product selection decisions, demand reporting, etc. Yet automation is the key to the implementation of an overall digital strategy. The 2020 MHI survey indicated that the #1 factor with potential to disrupt or create competitive advantage is, in fact, automation and robotics. So it follows the automation technologies must do more than mechanize or replace labor. Technology must create data in real time. This data includes production counts, system health, failure codes, overall effectiveness, etc. Flexibility through data, that's the key. Optionality that comes through that flexibility is what's going to make a supply chain ready for today and tomorrow. But what's the return on the data?
Dr. Randy Bradley from the University of Tennessee had an interesting point in the MHI Keynote 2019. He was referring to the pharmaceutical industry alone and indicated that in pharmaceutical, digitalization of their supply chains could save $25 billion in the next 5 years.
This visibility allows companies to identify where efficiency is poor and to improve, and in the same way that addressing the bottleneck in any process is the key to improving the critical path. So there is a payback, and it's a big one. Let's revisit this term, digitalization. Now, if you take a vinyl record, some of you might remember those, and record it into a digital media, for instance on a computer, that's digitization. It is simply a change in form. The transformation of a company model by making digital everything that can be digitized and changing it constantly, that's digitalization. But let's look further at the advantage of converting that analog record to digital. The file is much easier to edit, to change the sound using digital tools, to catalog it on your computer, to apply descriptive tags to the file, making it easier for people to search for it, to categorize it as lonely or soft rock or party background or my birthday song list. The Pandora music service uses over 450 attributes of music and rates songs according to listeners' unique tastes to provide a unique personal selection system. So it is the same sound as the analog vinyl record, but in the digital form, we're able to do so much more. The barcode is another great example. It was developed in the 1950s and was patented, but it was circular. And it wasn't until around 1970 where David Loren made a picket fence or linear barcode. The Universal Product Code, or UPC, followed shortly thereafter. And in 1974, the first product, Wrigley's Chewing Gum, was scanned and purchased in Ohio using a UPC scanner. Walmart's founder, Sam Walton, was initially not a fan of the new barcode scanners. He held that his checkout clerks were slightly faster, and he was adamant about the efficiency of getting his clients through the checkout. Why install an extremely expensive scanning device at all the checkouts in all the stores when a simple cash register and a skilled and speedier checkout clerk did the job perfectly? The answer is transformational. The need to physically reprice all the stock on the floor was now eliminated completely, simply through software. A digital change, and prices were updated without one price gun sticker being applied. Pricing became digital. Take, for example, now a distribution center facility that was built 25 years ago. It's running at capacity. That's your vinyl record. We can scan that entire facility into a 3D point cloud model. We can digitize it. We can load that file into software and use those tools. With those tools, we can add or change its systems. We can insert function and motion and purpose into those systems in that model. We can propose changes and run those changes before we actually implement them in the real world. To be clear, these virtual operations, or digital twin, is extremely specific. We have tools at our disposal that include not just equipment, but the labor force. At pick stations, shipping and receiving functions, we can ergonomically test the throughput and safety of these functions. Here are Jack and Jill. The software displays the color of Jack or Jill's shirt in accordance with the safety of the motion and tasks they perform. So let's break down this function. Your supply chain model can be designed digitally. Your supply chain model can be simulated in software. Your new design or design ideas can be simulated in software. You now can commission your supply chain virtually before you buy the first piece of equipment or put one brick on another brick. In the implementation of your supply chain, you must have access to all your data from every corner of the organization. I spoke to a supply chain software company who described how customer behaviors on his retail client's clothing website connect all the way back through the organization and out to suppliers on another continent in order to determine how much of a particular color fabric needs to be made today. It's about the data. Through access to this data that we earn the ability to respond quickly. Vendor data on delivery quantities and arrival times, product tracking data throughout the enterprise, equipment downturns that affect customer service in real time, customer behaviors in real time, distribution center worker metrics and effectiveness in real time, distribution center occupancy, security, and temperature in real time, number of picking robots to deploy as the season ramps up or down in real time, which motor or drive system needs to be replaced today so that they don't die tomorrow in real time. And not only do we have this data, we also have the ability to amalgamate this data into actionable dashboards. Like our vinyl to digital example before, we can do even more with this data. So I imagine you have all this data. You may be saying, I'm drowning in data today, already without a digitalized organization. But remember, focused, actionable, real-time data is the target. That's not an easy task, but it can be accomplished in the transformation of your business. The next phase is to be able to analyze this data. And this is where AI comes into play. Artificial intelligence is a hot topic, and for good reason too. But let's demystify it. My father, long retired, worked for IBM for 23 years. He provided point-of-sale solutions to retailers and grocery stores. He told me the story of Bernie Paroli, who worked for Supermarket General in the 1960s and 70s. Bernie was the president of his supermarket. He would take home daily cash register receipts and sit at his kitchen table to look them through. He had no computer, and these slips had no product descriptions. These receipts were simply rolls of paper with stock codes and prices. But Bernie knew his inventory well and could recognize what was cereal, bananas, or toilet paper. He looked through them to learn something. He was looking for patterns, wondering what was selling better on the weekends, or why he ran out of yogurt last week, or what the effect of a price drop had on his sales of beans. That's AI, ability to respond quickly. We don't know what we don't know, so we collect the data, and we look for patterns. Just imagine if Bernie had barcodes and a system for capturing the data. Those codes would allow not only inventory management, but more accurate decision making, faster, at a reduced cost. He could do pricing analysis, forecasting. He could do product tracking, sales and advertising campaigns, social analysis, health research, psychology, security. We don't know what we don't know. That's still true today. Entering into the digital world is about gathering the data so we can determine what the path forward is. And we won't find out unless we get that data. With real-time data available, we can begin searching for patterns. This can inform the entire organization. Why does distribution center number 5 operate 20% more efficiently than the others? Why is there higher absenteeism with workers in distribution center number 1? Where are we seeing the most equipment failures? Which products are stocking out? Which ones are moving well? Are we categorizing our A, B, and C products correctly? By answering these questions, we organically move the company forward. Efficiencies go up, costs go down, and problems are averted. All of this data is for the purpose of flexibility to react to the always uncertain customer demand. The supply chain in the future will succeed because it is flexible. It's adapting to customer demand. The more reactive to customer demand, the better we will compete. If you are running a distribution center, if you are in parcel sortation and delivery, or in retail, there are options now available to you. Here's the recommended strategy I have. Set your strategic plan immediately to be digitalized, data-centric. Write clear and concise specifications internally and for your outsourced services and vendors that real-time data is absolutely required from. 2. In your infrastructure, write clearly and concisely into your specifications that you need a digital ecosystem that is Industry 4.0 ready to produce and offer up data to your cloud from customer orders back through the organization through last mile transparency, distribution center movement, order picking, inventory management, vendor delivery data, purchase orders, and stock levels. Insist on real-time data, not after the fact reporting, which is so common. And 3, look outside your organization for best practices. If it isn't digital, break the model you have. Partner with the smart manufacturing and consulting companies who understand that flexibility is key. If you are a consulting firm, systems integrator, or machine builder providing supply chain solutions, you too have a critical role. You must master the tools to be able to skillfully lead your clients into a fully digital organization. With today's tools, you can do virtual proof of concepts to illustrate the viability of your designs. If you can show the digital twin of your client's new design, you will win the business. Not only that, but you will win the future business, the ongoing revenues in managing that system, and the inevitable expansions and enhancements for years to come. I can think of no better method to gaining strategic advantage and growing revenues than having these skills. There is a bonus. Siemens has spent over $1 billion developing an integrated platform of software and hardware. Firms realize around a 30% reduction in the execution time in their projects because much can be done simultaneously rather than serially. The tools are here. I am still surprised at how few organizations today are taking advantage of them. You can today design and run the supply chain and operations of tomorrow completely virtually and test its viability. So the mission is, first, start a task force now, if you haven't already, to digitalize your enterprise. This includes writing specifications for real-time data you expect internally and externally. Second, begin the design of the adaptable, flexible supply chain of the future using the tools available today. Again, these tools can get you not only a block diagram or an architectural view of a distribution center. I'm talking about running a system, including its code, for all of its controllers as it handles various scenarios you throw at it to tip it over. The end goal for this virtual model or digital twin is that you can find what the edge of your capabilities will be. You will know what kind of seasonal changes you can handle. You can test whether stockouts will occur and under what circumstances, how various product mixes will affect delivery, and how changing customer demand will affect performance. Third, know that whoever you are within your organization, from top to bottom and left to right, you can be empowered to know that you will only survive through VUCA times by applying digitalization principles, and that with them you can thrive and grow. There's more opportunity now than ever before. I appreciate the time we've had, and if I can be of any assistance to you, reach out to me. Thanks for listening.